So I'd like to welcome everyone to Oetiker's webinar on EV thermal management connecting solutions. And thank you for joining us today and taking your time to spending your time with us. Maybe Andy, go to the next slide.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the pleasure of introducing both Morgan and Andy today to be your presenters. They're both experts in thermal management here at Oetiker, especially for electric vehicle applications. And they're very excited to speak with you about some of our new products and existing historic products as well. And at the end, we'll have time to answer any questions. Feel free to please add your questions into the chat, and we're happy to answer those questions at the end of the presentation. Andy and Morgan, please go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Morgan, you're on mute.
Sorry about that.
Andy, can you please share the presentation? I see your screen. I see your video, not the presentation.
I see the presentation though.
Yes, I'm sharing the presentation.
I see the presentation as well.
Okay.
Okay then. So let's restart. So I'm Morgan Rhyman. I'm head of business innovation, polymer solutions, based in Gothenburg, Sweden, where we have our center of competence for everything that has to do with polymer solutions and polymer systems. That's about it.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Andreas Lennep. I'm responsible for the eMobility business of the Oetiker Group. I'm located here in Switzerland. Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining today. So a quick introduction before we go into SMILE and its advantages with regard to battery and enhancing the battery pack density. A quick introduction of Oetiker for the ones who don't know us. So Oetiker is a privately held company founded 80 years ago, celebrating this year since we were founded in 1942. Our company is globally present. We are selling, producing every year about 2 billion connectors. So we have a global network of manufacturing sites and different R&D centers dedicated to the product lines we are running. Oetiker is, as I said, a 100% family-owned company. So the grandson of Hans Oetiker, the founder of the company, is our today's CEO. We as a company are very well known, in particular in the automotive industry, even though you find us also in other applications like industrial applications, like medical and aftermarket and so on. Our main footprint is in the passenger vehicle area, and you see the key applications we work in, which are in particular in the environment of powertrain, EV propulsion systems, our today's topic, drivetrain and occupant safety, and not only in passenger vehicles, also in commercial vehicles. Working directly with the OEMs and also with the tier customers of our site. So about 80% of our revenues are in the automotive area. Diving a little bit deeper, I mentioned already the 2 billion connections that we provide our customers with every year. About 400 million of them are in the thermal management environment. So we see one example here with our classical clamps. A word regarding our product portfolio. We just saw an application, a thermal management application, where a reusable low-profile clamp is applied because the customer in that case wanted to have a serviceable clamp. For sure, you know our ear clamps and our multi-crimp rings, which are used as tamper-resistant solutions, providing verified permanent installation. Today we would like to dive a little bit deeper into the quick connector area, where we have in our portfolio metallic quick connects and polymeric quick connects. Now, in particular for the world of eMobility, and to solve the pain point of enhancing the battery pack density, we developed a product that will help and helps already OEM advanced engineers in their challenge to build future EVs. And the product is the core that we developed for this application is our SMILE product. SMILE is the world's most compact quick connector system for thermal management applications. It saves about 50% of the installed height. So in other words, customers don't have to waste the available space for quick connects. They can use it for example, enhancing the battery pack lifetime by simply putting more cells into the available space, or providing more accessibility leeway for the assembly workers, or having more in and outlets into the cooling plate, so using that available space for enhancing the performance of the thermal management systems. And last but not least, a space-saving solution always helps to cut freight cost, because then this is turning directly, this space saving is turning directly into dollars. Now, let's dive a little bit deeper into SMILE. The SMILE connector system is a modular quick connector system, which is based on two concepts. So we see on the left-hand side the surface mount connector, and on the right-hand side the inline quick connector. And we would like to dive into both concepts today. The brand name of SMILE is actually derived from those two concepts. So the capital surface mount SM and inline IL plus E, standing for eMobility, form the name of SMILE. The surface mount quick connector, as the first concept, is a unique product which is different to anything else in the market, because it is an inverse connector. So we see here, we highlighted it here in red, the actual connector, which is, as a female part, directly integrated into the surface, for example, of a cooling plate, can be also in heat exchanger or a similar application. And this inverse concept allows a extreme space saving. So you see here on the left-hand side shown the available or the needed or required building space when we compare our SMILE connector with the common designs in the marketplace, like a VDA design or an SAE connector. So we compare here in this little benchmark the sizes of a 7.8 flow diameter, and you see, for example, an SAE connector requires, in that particular case, 47 millimeters building height, whereas our SMILE connector or surface mount connector requires only 18 millimeter building height. So saves significant space in the building space, but now taking into account assembly space, the difference is even more drastic. You see the values yourself. So this typically comes from the braced or welded spigots, which are required for an SAE or an VDA quick connector design. In our case, we require for the surface mount connector this 3 millimeter high interface rim, as we call it. So this interface rim takes the surface mount connector, and our male part is a separate part which provides significant advantages with regard to flexibility of design. Because when you need a specific shape, and we see that on the next slide, can be relatively easy designed based on the SM connector, on the SMILE connector. So we can realize any different specific angle or shape or number of connections, flow diameter, as we see here in the video, or specific interfaces of the host end. Can be a VDA, can be a line, or an interface to our inline connector that we will learn in a few minutes about. So just by design, the surface mount connector with the spigot provides a huge flexibility, and we can optimize the design based on the flow calculations, based on the available space, and make individual parts available within just 12 weeks. So it's not required to develop a complete new quick connector for that, because that's actually our red part, which is a validated quick connector. Exploded view about the design. So the SM connector is based on a very simple design. So the connector itself, the red part, shown here in red for sure, the real parts are typically in black color. The design is based on an inner O-ring sealing towards the spigot and an outer O-ring sealing towards the surface. Both O-rings work as radial seals, so providing superior sealing qualities. On the inline connector, the second concept, also the inline connector is a very innovative solution. Similar to the SM connector, our design team, our innovation team reduced the design of the nowadays normally existing VDA or SAE connector designs to simplified it to its maximum. So simplified it to the core functionality of a quick connect, and came to a solution where the connectors directly integrated into the tube. And that obviously provides significant advantages. So number one, space saving. So we cut it off the bulky housing of the whole connector. So it's a huge space saving. Second, with the classical quick connector design, we have various sealing elements. So we see here the O-ring sealing towards the nylon tube, and further O-rings here on the right-hand side sealing towards the pipe. And every sealing point, as we know in thermal management, provide a potential leak path. So the design of the inline connector, in addition, facilitates the reduction of the potential leak path by 50% at least, which is a second advantage with this design. Now this design in an exploded view here on the right-hand side shows that the inline connector is a multi-part connector. So what do we mean here with multi-part? So the first part is the inline connector itself. Then we have the O-ring. The O-ring sits between the inline connector and the end cap. So it seals actually in both directions. And those three parts are delivered on a delivery spigot, and the delivery spigot has the function to support the whole process from the tier supplier to the OEM. So the inline connector is supplied, we see here the supplied condition picture, is supplied to the tier supplier to the line supplier in this condition. And the line supplier integrates the inline connector into the line, and then the line looks like this and will be provided to the OE who does the final assembly step. So that's the functionality. We see that now in a small animation to substantiate that. So the 3 parts delivered to the line supplier. Now the line supplier sends the line to the OE, and the OE does the final assembly step. The integration of the inline connector into the line goes typically via a thermal treatment process at the line supplier. So yes, so this actually is with regard to our main presentation of the benefits of the smart connector system. Let's dive quickly into the technical data. So the surface mount connector, the first concept we discussed, is provided in 2 particular base sizes, which is a 10.8 and an 18 millimeter size. We are working with the individual customers on variations of those sizes in individual projects, but we have those 2 sizes as standard parts available to start the project work together with the customers, providing parts in within short time to facilitate early validations in the system of the customer. We are using as a standard material PA66 glass fiber, on the O-ring side in EPDM. The operating temperature range is ranging from -40 to 100 degrees with 120 degrees peak. Operating pressure indicated is 5 bar. We have significant buffer here with regard to what the connector system is able to provide. And the fluid our connectors are the connectors are used and validated for water glycol fluids. However, we are also working with various customers on, for example, dielectric fluids for immersion cooling systems. The SM connector comes with a 50 Newton insertion force, so it's very convenient for assembly workers. There's also an advantage by design that an assembly worker angles in the connector, so the actual experience is even much better than the 50 Newton, which is very appreciated by the assembly personnel. On the inline quick connector, we have defined similar data. It's the same material when it comes to the connector itself, and also the O-ring. Temperature range is the same, operating pressure and so on. The inline connector, though, comes in 2 variations. So number 1, it comes with a 360 degrees swiveling, which helps to take up tolerances in the system. But on request, where customers really require a fixed position of the connector, we also have the possibility of a rotation lock. And with this feature, it is also possible to disassemble the inline connector. We are happy in follow-up discussions to go deeper into these subject matters of assembly and disassembly. On the material sides for tubes, typically the connector works very well with a PA material like 12 or PA 612. Also other thermoplastic materials can be used. On the spigot side, material-wise, we are fully flexible. It can be also polymer or metallic spigot. I think with this we have reached the end of the presentation and would be very happy to take questions.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, great presentation. Thank you for spending the time walking through the details, especially about our new Smile connector system. It's super exciting. Anybody who has any questions, please do feel free to add them into the chat, and I'm happy to pass those along to Morgan and Andy to answer. One that did come up, Andy, while people add their questions, was around how, you know, we have it was noted that we have the claim of turning millimeters into kilometers in the presentation. The question was around how do we do that? How do we extend range of electric vehicles with Smile?
That's a great question. Thank you, Brett. It seems that Morgan wants to answer that question because you're switching on your camera. So
yeah, so maybe I could add to that then. I mean, the thing is, we're working with several OEMs today, and when you have the inlet and outlet of the battery on the outside of the vehicle, left side to right side, we normally save like 20 millimeters each side. So that's like 40 millimeters that you can use for more battery power. 40 millimeters of battery power would convert to something like 40 kilometers. So that's why we claim we turn millimeters into kilometers.
excellent.
Perfect. Thanks, Morgan. Good explanation. Along that line as well, can you explain? I think the other option too was about increasing battery life. Is there an explanation there that you can give to everybody around how Smile can help with that as well?
Yes, as we know, every cell has to be, or let's say, temperature differences between cells have to be avoided, and this can be provided with enhanced cooling performance. And the space we provide the advanced engineers can be used for enhancing the cooling performance, by the way, as Morgan explained.
Great. Thank you. Great explanation. Final question that I see right now is about the reusability of the Smile system. Is that something that you guys can speak to?
There are the standard solution that we offer today is for one-time use. It's a tamper evident solution, so it's important in the battery compartment that nobody tampers with the connections. So that's why we designed it in a way that you have to break off a certain knob to open the connector, and then you have to replace it. But there are also reusable versions in development.
Perfect. Thanks, Morgan. Well, that's all the questions I see for now. As you can see on the screen here, there's the contact information for both Morgan and Andy. So feel free to reach out to them directly via their email or phone number. There's also a QR code there that will take you to our website where we have some more information. But of course, we're always interested to speak with you one-on-one to hear about your application specifically. So feel free, please do reach out to us. Let us know how we can assist you or answer any more of your questions one-on-one. And with that, thank you, Morgan and Andy, for the great presentation. Thank you to everyone for taking your time and joining us today. And we hope to be speaking with you again soon.
Thank you
for having us.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.